June 26, 1902, round the turn of our century. The college building and grounds were sold in 1903 to Charles S. Kleckner of Philadelphia for $15,000 and later reopened as a school named Union Seminary. Classes were held until 1911. The building was used later as a silk throwing school. It needed to be listed as a school, you know, since the deed called for it to be used for educational purposes only. After the mill closed its doors, the building gradually deteriorated to the point it became necessary to raze or demolish the building, clear the rubble, and make way for a whole new era, the building of the present elementary school on the very site of the Union Seminary. Many of New Berlin natives were educated under the dome of the 1814 courthouse, since the courthouse was used as a school from 1860 to 1953. Even before the courthouse was used, homes and later churches were used for education, satisfying that natural request for knowledge. Fortune again presented itself in the form of a modern vocational technological school established in New Berlin in 1971 by the Western Area Joint School District. And once again, New Berlin was chosen because we were the hub of the three-county area. As education became increasingly more important, New Berlin is challenged to develop and support future programs. Education will always be a part of our heritage because many residents and people associated with the college have contributed priceless records and memorabilia for prosperity. These treasures, as you know, are housed in the former courthouse, now the New Berlin Heritage Association Museum, and it's open and available to all of you who are interested. And it's a good way to learn about your heritage. Episode 7, Transportation. Scene 1, the first trip. Transportation, you know, is the key. If you don't have roads, if you don't have a waterway, your town could very easily shrivel up and die. Well, the first roads to New Berlin were mere Indian paths until Reuben Haynes, an early land prospector in this area, purchased hundreds of acres in Penns Valley, Centre County. In 1776, he opened his region for purchasing. And luckily for New Berlin, he built a road from Blue Hill westward, up along Union-Snyder County line, through New Berlin, White Springs, Swangles, and Hartleton, across the 7-mile narrows by the way of the 4-mile tree, Harry John Park, to Woodward. And by the time the Revolutionary War settlers were living along this tract, all the way as far west as Hartleton. So these roads were the beginning of a new era in community living, as struggling pioneers' families were making friends and supporting each other during summer droughts and winter freezes. The Reuben Haynes Road played an important part in the development of our little town. And after 1814, New Berlin, the new county seat, became the hub of a network of roads, serving all parts of the county, enabling political groups to organize, farmers to market their products, and people from different valleys to communicate. The narrow gauge railroad enjoyed its brief life in the development of New Berlin. Mr. I.C. Bird, his brother Samuel, and Samuel's son-in-law, Irvin J. Moyer, took out a charter granted by state in Harrisburg in September 1904 for building a railroad. Finances were planned and the work began on a 9-mile stretch of railroad from Winfield to New Berlin. The rolling stock consisted of 10 boxcars, 4 flat cars, and 1 mail car. way up. Isn't that great? That was good. Well, the first locomotive steamed into town Saturday, June 10, 1905, just about 87 years ago this month. The passenger made its first regular trip. Employees worked 7 days a week, 10 hours a day, and received 12.5 cents per hour as wages. Now, as an interesting note, just a little aside, one of the original engines, engine number 2, is now owned by an individual in southwest Iowa. He hopes to restore this engine complete with original lettering that will say, New Berlin Winfield Railroad.